Hello folks, and welcome back to Jim's Shed, and welcome to another video. Today's video I'm going to replace the rear brake pads and discs in a 2014 VW Passat. But what I'll do first is I'll go through all the tools that you need to do the job, and of that there are a lot. Just because it's a Volkswagen, you need an awful lot. It's ridiculous the amount of stuff you need for this simple job. But anyway, so without further eloquence, we'll just horse straight into it. Apart from your usual accoutrements that you will need to remove the wheel, as you can see there, also required is a brake cylinder rewinding kit, as illustrated in the picture. An 11 socket, a pry bar, a pneumatic ratchet if you have one. If you haven't, it doesn't matter. An ordinary ratchet will do. A mirror, preferably with a light. Okay. A screwdriver, a hammer, a bigger hammer if the small hammer doesn't work, a bigger one. Right, now that's not a torque, that's a spline head M4, and you also need an M14 spline head on a short wobble extension, a long torque 30 13mm spanner, a short torque 30, and a gun if you have one. That's not, don't worry, and some lubricant. Right, so I think we can safely get into this job. So I'm going to prop my camera here so that you can have some idea as to what I'm doing. Hopefully you'll be able to view it. Now, how is that looking? Ah yeah, that's looking pretty good. Right, so I'm just going to gather all my tools and bring them all over here, because VW, yeah, they make this job not hard but awkward. So we'll I suppose we just get stuck right into it. So I'm going to move this thing out of my way, because Jim's Shed is hot for space. Right, first thing is undo everything here. So take out the retaining nut for the might do no harm to give that a spot of lubrication for later. Right, 13mm and just loosen the top and bottom on the calipers. Dirt. These cars have what's called an electric handbrake. Now, look, VW will tell you, you plug in the DPN or whatever you call that device for and to tell the car to wind the cylinder in. Well, I'm showing you how to do this without software, without any such fancy gizmos. I'm just going to move that camera over. I'm just not quite happy the way that's better, yeah. Okay. So there's your caliper, and I'm just going to bring the camera over so that you can see the motor that is attached, like so. So all you have to do is unplug, like so. I'll just set my flashlight so you can see what I'm at there. So I've just unplugged. Now I'm going to separate the motor from the caliper, right? Separate this from this. So this is where you're going to need light is kind of an issue here today for some reason. Winter's coming, I suppose. You know, about 1:30. Yeah, there's over 100,000 miles on this car, so I'm changing the disc as well. So look, you know, maybe that's just me, you know, but anyway. Now, what's next? This guy. So my two little torque screws holding this on. So just anyone will tell you when you're loosening these torques, it's always better use an impact wrench. Make sure you have the right size torque, because if it's the wrong size, if it's too small, you'll round off the edges. So make sure you have the right torque and use an impact, because if you use gentle force, you can ring it, you can, you know, so torque is always a good thing, believe it or not. So we do the same to the other side. This one is proving a little difficult. Always one. Anyway, we'll get there. Right, okay. More than one way to skin a cat. That's why I said I would. As you said earlier on, you're going to need a 14. And that 14 will fit in here. And that will then allow me to get this small hammer and so, and then simply loosen. Yeah, okay, there you go. Whoa. Anyways, look, okay, we'll finish it off as earlier illustrated. Like so. Now, alright, that's the end of that. We don't need that for a while until we're putting it back together. I'll just put a little bit of lubrication in there for later. Just go back together much easier. Now we're going to separate the motor from just like that. Now that's the motor. We'll just put that down there for a minute. Now, this is the lad we need to... So basically what we need to do is, we need to get this cylinder to retract fully in. Right? Now to do that you need your brake winding kit to wind it in. But enable it to wind it in, the plunger from this section here is fully extended. We need to close that. So how do we do that? Well, this is where our torque or our spline, what size is again? I said earlier 30, I think. An M8 spline head it's known as. So you simply stick it in there and wind it. You can do it by hand, or the quick way is do it with your old magic menagerie. So without further eloquence, now there we go. That's it. That's as far as you go. Clockwise. If you go anti-clockwise, you'll extend the plunger fully, which I did accidentally on purpose to show you. See, fully extended. Now we have to close that. So where we go about that is we use our brake winding toolkit, and tools required is Volkswagen, which I know is this one. Magnetic. They're a great old kit, these. So that's it. It's got 3 spuds on it, which you can see 3 points of contact on the kit. So you simply, messy old job this, but anyway, I know a lot of people would say, listen, you'd have it done in a couple of minutes the other way, you know. That's alright if you have the gear, you know, but when you don't have the gear, this job can be done in your driveway, you know. So anyway, now I have to figure out, is it, some of these are anti-clockwise, some of them are not. So I have to figure out which is opening, which is closing. Ah, yes. Whew. Yeah. Also keep winding the and she goes, just like that. Gets easier as you go. Just like that. Keep going until you get fully closed. Enough to get your 2 new pads back in position. So there you go. That's that ready, prepared and ready for use. So we'll just put that back. Now for the fun part. Okay. take off these gloves, they're a bit messy. And I have another set I had prepared earlier. I have to take off this carrier to get the disc out, and that's where Volkswagen decide, oh, let's make this awkward, you know, and it's not easy to get at, but it's two M14 now two M14 spline heads, which are located in here. Very, very awkward. Oh. Anyway, now a breaker bar I think is required. So let's have a go at this. I wonder will I need, don't know if I need the wobble on this occasion. On this side I need to come up the way, don't I? So yeah, okay, so we just move that and change it a bit. Allow me to, no, okay, we'll move it another bit. Now, okay, that's in the way. Right. So, how awkward is that? How awkward is that? If I oh, yeah, this is oh my word, oh my word, yeah, that's tight, that is very tight. However, we got there. Okay. So I'll bring the camera around the back. I'll show you in a moment what I was trying to loosen. It's basically coming in from the back of the hub and holding on this. There's two of them in it. One on the top, one on the bottom. So that is what I was trying to remove. Anyway, you see it there. Compliments of VW. Yeah. Huh? Oh yeah. They sure don't make it easy, boy. Anyway. Now the bottom one, I'm not sure is the bottom one harder or easier. I can't remember. But anyway, we'll get into it. We won't let it get the better of us. So I'll just get my trusted hammer, as acquired from earlier, and just tap it in like so. Now, alright, how do we get at this? How will we get at this? Yeah, they sure don't make it easy. Okay, now, what's this one going to be like? Oh. Yeah. Yeah. As I suspected, a lot harder. Okay. So, now how do I get that out? Huh? Jeez, that's rightly stuck in there, isn't it? Huh? Yeah. That's rightly. Whew. Yeah. It's just very, very tight. Very tight. That's all. I know. Yeah. Okay. Right. I think I'll have to try one more. No. See, leverage is the thing. Leverage is the issue. Okay. 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 Leverage seems to be the problem here. Leverage is the issue. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Right, we have to have a rethink here now. How we're going to go about this. I think. I'll just pause that for a minute. Now we're going to try from underneath. Have a go. See what happens. Using a long extension. Oh. Okay. Okay. Let's see how this works. Okay. Okay. Now, I need to take it out and bring it all the way down here, and then put it in like so, and then hopefully bring it up like that. Yeah, that done the job all right. Okay. Yeah. That done the job all right. There we go. So, okay. Lesson number 2. Right. In addition to the tools required, you also need a long wobble as opposed to the small one, as illustrated earlier on in the video. Anyway, now let's go in here and try and loosen this off. Hopefully we won't have any more trouble. Yeah. Whew. Right. What did I do with the extension that I had, that I was using initially? Yeah. What did I do with that? Here we go. So, we'll resume trying to remove this nuisance of a which is easier said and done. Now we have it loose enough now that we can actually loosen it by hand, believe it or not. Yeah. Now. Okay. God, it's not that loose. Huh? Yeah. Right. This is proven to be a major job. What is that? Huh? Anyway, we get there. Now, okay. I'll put the flashlight back here, see where I'm at. Hopefully, the video is not great. It's not actually showing you what I'm doing. But anyway, just look, this carrier. See, this won't come out without the carrier being taken off. So that's all we're doing. Is now. Okay. So we'll just leave that out there, and we'll install the new one, like so. These have been pre-cleaned, so don't think, oh, he's forgetting to clean the discs. Well, I'm actually not. I'm not forgetting at all. I degreased them earlier on, so for video purposes, that's all I'm doing. I'm just making it easier. That's all. Just making it easier. That's all, boy. So now I'm just going to put the this little lad back in place. Just so that I can work. So, okay. Now I can put the carrier back on. Make sure you don't put it on upside down. A lot of people make that mistake. Put it in and, oh, it's upside down. You know, so. Right. Okay. So on with the video. Screw it back on. Quite simple. Like so. And the same with the bottom. Yeah. Never at all easy. As I said, years and years ago when I used to work with Volkswagens, you know, I mean, everything was, you'd fix a car with a vice grips and a screwdriver. Farmer's toolbox, as I used to call it. But now, things are just made so, you know, cars are more complex anyway, you know, so I suppose you can understand complexity brings, what's the word, awkwardness, and you know, anyway. Now I'm going to tighten everything up. So I'll just put this flashlight back here, and I'll just continue as I was in the same vein, except I am going in the reverse. That's tight enough. You know, why hang out of these things, you know? What's the story, like? No need. Now what? Yeah. Now I'll actually take the wobble out of that, so I get good purchase on the ratchet so that I can maneuver here on this hither. I'll just put the light back here, make it easier for myself. No, actually, no, that's what I get for being, I think, assumption to say is the mother of all cock-ups. So back to the initial setup. You know, people, oh, too much action. Just wind the back and be alright. You know, look. It's not everyone, it's not everybody. It's not everyone has the software to do that job, you know. You know, as I said, simply make sure that your clips are in position before you install the pads, like so. 1, 2. This is how easy this is, you know. Now, put the motor back on to the calipers, to which I had wound back earlier, and make sure you don't put it on backwards. So make sure you have wound back enough to fit into the, you know, I've seen this happen before, so I will just go another little bit on the old winder, you know, just to be sure. Just to be sure. Oh yeah, fits in lovely. Look at that, lovely snug fit. Now, okay, so put this back. We have to make sure we get it back in the right way, because if you put it the wrong way, see, it won't fit. So I'm just checking to make sure. Yeah, that looks okay. Okay, so I just take it out again, line it up like so. The 2 screws I had earlier. I hope you guys can see this, you know. I mean, it's there's no point in doing these videos if you can't see what I'm at, you know. But anyway, look, I think you have the general gist of what I was aiming to achieve. I just want to make sure they're properly lined up, which they are. Well, see how easy it comes off. Okay. Now my calipers. How'd that happen? Oh. Right. Where was I? That way or that way? That way. That way. That way. Okay. Just like that. It's tricky enough to line up. Yeah, it's tricky enough. Last thing you want to do is put this on the wrong thread, you know. That's the last thing you want to do. Now we're talking, that's the job. Okay, get it started. Here's my second screw. just to get it going. And then we simply put it back together again. Don't over tighten, that's only plastic. You know. So now before I put this back, I'm going to connect it back up the electrics. Simply do that until it clips in. Like that. And I get my two so. Now I'm just looking at that now, and yeah, what is, I'll just leave that there so you can see it. There's not much places where I can put this, no. Now, the bottom one. Just push back the plunger so you can get it in. Then we just simply tighten up. Like so. Yeah. Now, no, don't hang out. There's no need to hang out of these things. No, otherwise you'll never get them off. That's it. Folks, I hope you enjoyed that video. That is how you replace. Now remember, when I switch the ignition back on, I'm just going to move this in closer so that you can see exactly what's going to happen. So, just bear with me. I'll get the camera in closer so that you can see exactly what's going to happen here. Now, when I switch the ignition, when I switch on the ignition, the calipers will close. You'll also hear them and see them visually, hopefully. So, without further eloquence, I will turn on the ignition and hopefully there you go. I'm sure you heard that, and that's the wheel coming back into she's winding the piston back in to its lock position. So there you go. I mean, there was a delay, and this one I think closed first before the far side. I heard it. I don't know if you heard that on video, but yeah, that's how you change the rear brake discs and pads on a VW Passat without software implementation. That's what I call the home version, Jim Shed's version. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my, I think it was in my last video, Jim's shed invention. And yeah, it's just what I call my Jim's shed wheel aligners.